What should you tell your kids about sex? The answers on The Last Word right after Nightline.
Good evening, I'm Liz Everman.
And I'm Ken Rowland. Every car in Jefferson County will have to be tested for pollution starting this summer, and it will cost you money.
And a Russian satellite may come crashing to Earth. John?
We've got a warm day in the forecast for tomorrow. Temperatures into the 50s. Mike?
In sports, the Cards breeze, the Cats nearly blow it. Top 20 college basketball in the 32 Alive newsroom next.
After 55 years, Gans Furniture is forced to quit business. Everything must be sold. Hurry, this is your chance to save up to 70% on nationally known living room, dining room, and bedroom furniture. Thousands of dollars of fine quality home furnishings must be sacrificed. Open daily till 8 p.m., weekends until 5 p.m. Our entire stock must be sold. Financing is available, charge cards are welcome, and an extra discount for cash. So hurry and save hundreds of dollars during Gans Furniture drastic bankruptcy sale at 642 State Street in New Albany.
Want to kick those nothing-to-do winter blues? The club. Come join the club. Now that the holidays are past, don't let old man winter leave you holding those extra pounds. Fight back. At the Health and Fitness Club, it's simple with the latest equipment, nutrition counseling, aerobics, and much more. The Health and Fitness Club. Come on, what are you waiting for? Call the Health and Fitness Club now during our 2-for-1 special. Just $6 per month per person.
Take a good look at what's on the next Entertainment Tonight. From backstages in Hollywood to on stage on Broadway. It's celebrity couples working together, keeping it all in the family.
We're involved in many pursuits beside the theater.
And James Brolin, get the inside story on his secret desire.
But I'm going to keep kicking at it.
Come on and reach for the stars.
And that's sort of the brass ring, you know.
On Entertainment Tonight.
E.T. at 7:30 right after Family Feud.
Ken Rowland and Liz Everman in the 32 Alive newsroom.
Good evening. At this hour, Louisville police have surrounded a house in the 1500 block of Lincoln. That's near the Louisville Zoo. A man armed with a gun is believed to be holding his ex-wife and possibly several other people. A 32 Alive news crew is on the scene. We'll have more details as they become available. The controversial auto emission testing program for Jefferson County is now official. It starts July 1st. And only the details remain to be worked out. The Air Pollution Control Board approved the plan today, which will annually test some 450,000 cars and small trucks, including RVs, campers, motorcycles, and diesel cars. The charge has not been decided yet, except that it won't be more than $7. The fee that will be set will be fixed for 5 years. There will be at least 3 locations of 4 lanes each for inspections. No one will be required to pay over $50 for repairs to bring the vehicle up to pollution standards, and vehicles under 10,000 pounds must be inspected. After some consideration, the board decided that heavy trucks would not be included in the program.
It's not as if the problem is being ignored. It's not as if nobody is doing anything about it. It's just that the additional expense of constructing a testing station, the inability to agree on any standards for testing, and finally the really minuscule contribution that diesels make to carbon monoxide and hydrocarbon are the 3 overriding reasons why we chose the way we did.
Those who fail to get their vehicles inspected will get a 30-day warning, and a fine of up to $50 will be imposed if that doesn't work.
A hepatitis epidemic in Meade County has affected more than 50 people. Today, 32 Alive's Carolyn C. talked with one of those victims.
I was nauseous. I couldn't eat anything, and just light foods like pudding and stuff like that. And I still can't eat greasy or fried foods. And you're yellow.
16-year-old Jackie Brown has had hepatitis for at least 3 weeks. She's one of 53 people in Meade County who are sick. 10 people have been hospitalized, and 1 man is dead from water that health department officials say is contaminated.
You're real trapped because you can't go out. I mean, you can't even go outside. I can't even get in there.
Jackie uses separate dishes from her family and says she's isolated from her friends.
What I'm concerned about right now is there any contamination getting into the well water supply?
20% of the people in Meade County did rely on Buttermilk Falls for their water. Now that's changed. The pipes from the falls have been removed, But health department officials say there are still dangerous levels of human waste in the stream.
So we're up on the hill above that falls. Of course, we're east of it some.
Some people, like Bill Mayfield and his wife, are having their water tested before they drink any at all.
I think we're going to see the secondary contacts now. People that didn't know that there was a case in their home, that the incubation period has been longer for them, and that now that we will see a case or two a day for a while.
I think that some people have had a very mild case that may not have been seen by a doctor and had it diagnosed.
People continue to come to health clinics for immunizations, but many of the victims still aren't sure that Buttermilk Falls is entirely to blame. Carolyn C., 32 Alive News in Brandenburg.
An unusual manhunt ended this afternoon on 4th Avenue when police captured a young man running from the River City Men's Shop. The clothing store had just been firebombed and the Oriental owner shot at. The store was destroyed, but no one was hurt. At first, there was no apparent motive for the violence.
I think it may end up that, we have a person that's, for lack of a better word, I suppose, mad at some reason or another, but we'll see.
Then it was learned that the suspect, 21-year-old Michael Sutherland, had failed an advanced Oriental martial arts test earlier in the day. The karate school on Dixie Highway was shot at, as were 2 Oriental restaurants on West Broadway. A service station on Broadway was also an arson target. Sutherland is being charged with all the incidents.
A Kentucky state trooper remains in critical condition tonight, shot yesterday in a hail of gunfire in an eastern Kentucky hollow. 3 people died in the shootout when police went after Tommy Combs.
A neighbor described him as a nice person, but police knew him as a dangerous man with a long criminal record. And yesterday, when they tried to arrest Terry Combs, he began shooting, spraying the side yard of his house with bullets. State troopers returned the fire, and when it was over, Combs was dead. A 14-year-old boy who lived upstairs had been killed, and also shot to death a deputy sheriff.
Our officers had a teletype from, it was McLean, Virginia, to pick up this Combs subject. He had, I think, charges of possession of explosives, a felon in possession of firearms, and some kind of escape charge. We received this teletype. Our officers were answering the federal marshal's teletype to pick him up.
After autopsies were conducted on the bodies of the 3 dead here in Louisville, State Medical Examiner George Nichols said it was possible Combs turned a gun on himself.
It is certainly possible that he could have committed suicide, and I don't know yet, and we won't know until all the weapons that are there are confiscated, cataloged, and test fired.
One of the 3 state troopers Combs is alleged to have shot was transported from Hazard this afternoon to a Lexington hospital. Ron Bolin, a 9-year veteran, was the most seriously injured of the troopers. Hit twice in the abdomen, he lost a kidney and part of his colon and is paralyzed. Investigators spent most of the day around the house trying to sort out the details of the shooting. Ernestine Fields was a neighbor of Combs.
Neighbor, they bother us. We lived here for almost 3 years. We never had no problems.
Combs had been in and out of jail most of his life. What triggered him to kill yesterday may never be known. Steve Bergen, 32 Alive News in Hazard.
As we said, we have a news crew on the scene in the 1500 block of Lincoln, and we now understand there are no hostages in that house. There had been a report that a man had barricaded himself in the house and that he might have his ex-wife and possibly several other people there as hostages. There are no hostages. However, the man is barricaded in the house in the 1500 block of Lincoln. He does have a gun. Some shots have been fired, but no one has been hit. The police have barricaded off that street, the 1500 block of Lincoln. Apparently, there's been another cyanide capsule case. This time, it's in the small community of Hillsboro, Oregon. Authorities say cyanide and fragments of a capsule have been found in the stomach of a 31-year-old woman who died yesterday. Family members report Patricia Bennett took an Anacin 3 capsule just a couple of hours before she became ill. It's not known yet whether the capsule was the source of the poison, but no cyanide residue was found in the mouth. Suicide has not been ruled out, but as of now, the death is termed a possible homicide.
A Russian spy satellite with nuclear material on board may come tumbling back to Earth later this month. Cosmos 1402 is acting erratically and its orbit is deteriorating. The Russians apparently tried to boost the satellite's orbit, but the attempt failed. 5 years ago, a similar Soviet satellite disintegrated over northern Canada, spreading radioactive debris. The nuclear material on board the satellite is used as a power source.
Coming up from the newsroom, President Reagan holds his first press conference of the new year, and there's good news for Scottsburg.
Sure, we're experts. Transmissions, carburetors, what have you.
A lot of places claim to be transmission experts.
Sure, we're experts. We've been fixing transmissions for close to a month and a half now. Good month and a half.
Sure, we're experts. Why, we fixed this gentleman's transmission 18 times alone. 19.
Take your car to the real transmission experts, the place that only fixes transmissions and fixes more of them than anyone. Aamco. Why go anywhere else?
Millions of Americans require medication for diabetes. Marjorie Stieber is one of them. She has a doctor's prescription that must be refilled regularly, so she brings it to Walgreens and has it filled with the top quality generic drug instead of the name brand. Marjorie saves over $5 on each refill of 100 tablets at Walgreens. Over $40 a year on this one prescription alone. Generic savings. Another good reason to bring all your prescriptions to Walgreens.
When Bob Evans sausage gets to your town, it's delivered fresh from Bob Evans Farms. It's not frozen along the way. It doesn't sit around for days. It's delivered fresh from our farms to your food store, with all the hams and tenderloins included. So if you want the delicious taste of lean, farm-fresh sausage, get it from folks who know how to deliver. Bob Evans Farms. We do it right, or we don't do it.
Lots of excitement galore every night on Family Feud.
We'll go for it. We're going to play.
Family Feud, weeknights at 7.
President Reagan held his first news conference of the new year as he begins his third year in the White House. He began by introducing Elizabeth Dole as the new Transportation Secretary. Ms. Dole, the wife of Kansas Senator Bob Dole, has been White House Assistant for Public Liaison. Then he answered reporters' questions, except he said he didn't want to get into specifics on the budget until his State of the Union address. He said he realizes it must be cut, and he'll look at every aspect of it. He was conciliatory toward the Soviet Union and the possibility of a non-aggression pact between NATO and the Warsaw Pact nations. He said he doesn't think America's defense budget is inflated and that increasing taxes is not the way to get out of a recession. He also said he doesn't think the economy is deteriorating any further.
We have brought the interest rates down to the point that inflation is, as you know, at the lowest it's been in 10 years, 4.5%. And I think that all of the indicators are there to indicate that the economy is getting better, not getting worse. Now, as for employment, that, of course, is the most grievous problem and the one that's always the last to get well.
Well, Ken, our telepoll question tonight was about the economy. We asked, do you think our economy is starting to turn around? 42% of the 179 people we talked with said yes. 49% said no, and 9% preferred not to offer an opinion. Scottsburg, Indiana is suffering from a 25% unemployment rate, but the jobless have more hope tonight because one local industry is expanding. The home industries, which makes gaskets and weather stripping materials, is building a $5 million addition to its plant. That means 100 more jobs this year for Scottsburg and an additional 500 by the end of 1984.
Some former employees of the French Lick Springs Villa condominium project are complaining that the developer is not living up to the work agreement. However, project officials say some of those claims are unfounded.
The inside of this model condominium unit at the French Lick Springs Villas shows the plush surroundings of the two-story unit. Company officials say the weekly timeshare condos are selling, but some people who have sold them are complaining the company promised them a lot more than it delivered.
I have a claim in small claims court that is supposed to come up January 10th. I sold timesharing condominiums for them, and they owe me approximately $380.
Barbara Delisle says French Lick Springs Villas owes her money for selling a unit. She and her husband also purchased a timeshare condo. They tried to get out of the deal by using this clause, which says if the unit was unfinished on November 26th of 1982, the agreement could be canceled. Although the company had failed to honor that agreement, they did agree to refund the Delisle's money after our inquiry. As for the commissions, company officials say Delisle and Wright will be paid when the second building is finished. The marketing director told us many other salespeople are happy with their pay. He says his books are open to anyone, even the Attorney General. Melissa Swan, 32 Alive News.
The Phoenix Hill Urban Renewal Project took another step forward today. A group of community leaders and Mayor Sloan broke ground for the Phoenix Hill apartment complex on Campbell at Marshall.
We see it as sort of a good first step in the real redevelopment of Phoenix Hill to provide housing for those who will be displaced because of relocation. And we're just glad to see this day come. It's a great way to start the new year.
46 units are being constructed as part of the project.
Well, what's the summer weekend look like?
The summer weekend?
You need to think about it.
There's some people who like to be summer already, but it's going to be cooling off a little bit over the next few days after a bit of a warm-up for tomorrow. So just a brief reminder that it's still wintertime, although no real big cold wave or snowstorms in our forecast, and I'll tell you all about it. But first, let's get this word from tonight's sponsor.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by the Cumberland, a Federal Savings and Loan Association.
Skies are cloudy right now in Louisville. Our temperature at 40 degrees. Winds are out of the southwest at 5, humidity 62, and the barometer 30.17. Today's high 46, 25 degrees, the low temperature this morning. And around the region tonight, temperatures 40s, 30s running around the area right now. Chicago at 26, a cool spot. It's 40 right now over in Beauty, Kentucky. Our weather satellite view shows mostly cloudy skies across Indiana and Kentucky. A few breaks in the clouds out to the west of us. That will move in tomorrow, give us a little bit of sunshine as temperatures are expected to top the 50-degree mark. Only a small portion of the nation today had an all-day freeze. It's really warming up. Denver 52. They've already forgotten about the blizzard out there, as most sections of the country will have above normal temperatures for tomorrow. Super radar from MEX has a storm system moving up the east coast. It's raining from New York down to North Carolina, raining in Florida. Rains and snows pretty much light out west, but this cold front moving into the Pacific Northwest will rapidly move southeast, and our warm-up tomorrow will last one day. Bit of a cooling trend for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Heavy snows tomorrow for the Great Lakes states. We could see a few light flurries tomorrow night as the colder air moves in, but again, no real big deal as far as we're concerned here in the Louisville area. We'll have the complete forecast in detail coming up in a half minute.
From the Cumberland, one more way to earn sky-high interest. Investment checking still pays money market rates on balances above $1,000. Now, the Cumberland offers money market checking, paying money market rates on monthly balances averaging $2,500, with unlimited check writing and fully insured. Once again, the Cumberland soars above all the rest.
During the day tomorrow, we're expecting partly sunny skies here. There could be some showers across about the northern half of Indiana during the afternoon, and temperatures in the 50s here, 40s to our north. Our Louisville area forecast tonight, skies remaining cloudy, the overnight low of 33 degrees. There could be some freezing drizzle, though, tonight up in central Indiana around Indianapolis. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high of 51 degrees. The extended outlook clearing, colder Friday, a high of 40. Saturday will be 40. Sunday will be 43 degrees. We do have a slight chance of a flurry here in Louisville tomorrow night. At the bus stop in the morning, temperatures in the middle 30s. Red Wing Fish and Game forecast, excellent, 8:15 and 7:30 p.m. And tonight's weather report has been brought to you by the Cumberland. Skies are cloudy. Forget about going out and looking at the meteors tonight. I counted about 30 per hour. That's most of the calls we got and said about that last night.
I forgot about that, and now I can't do it tonight.
No, you didn't miss much. It wasn't anything spectacular.
Can you do it tomorrow night?
Yeah, you can do it again tomorrow.
Okay, let's go. You got time. Many of the people who adopt Wednesday's children have already raised children of their own and have an empty bedroom. They tell me they want to give another child a chance for a secure life. Tonight on Wednesday's Child, photographer Bruce Anderson and I introduce you to a teenager who deserves that chance.
Tony would love to learn to really play the guitar well. He fiddles around with it a lot in his room at the Home of the Innocents where he lives.
I had a teacher once. I think his name was Doug. He came here. He gave me this guitar, and he taught me how to play a little bit. So I've been learning by myself since he's been gone.
Oh, you think fancy, huh? Tony is 17. He was born with spinal bifida, which means he will never be able to walk. But Tony's handicap has not slowed the development of his personality or his ambition. What would you like to do for a career?
Make jewelry and stuff like that. But mostly I like to sing, compose, and do lots of things. I make all kinds of rings, necklaces, earrings, and I made a bracelet a long time ago. All kinds of colors and stuff like that.
Tony is a special guy, and he deserves some special parents.
I love to have a mom and dad to love me and take care of her and take me anywhere, like store or movies, something, baseball game, football game, anything, or basketball, and field trips or fishing or anything like that. It would be nice to have that. Nice to have a home too.
For information on how to adopt Tony, call the Special Needs Adoption Program at 1-800-432-9346 or 588-4303.
Quite a guy. The start of a new year usually gives rise to new